Okay, so we're going to do a real quick walkthrough of yesterday's assignment. So we have 4 plus x equals 12. So we're going to draw that out with 4 plus x equals 12. We take a look at the equation. We see that it's a positive 4, a positive x is equal to a positive 12. So what we need to do is do the inverse of that to get the variable by itself. So the positive 4 constant needs to be subtracted by 4 to move the 4 from the left side of the equation with the variable to the right side of the equation where it can be combined with the other constant. So we do a negative 4 and we do a negative 4. The 4's cancel out and we are left with x is equal to 12 minus 4, which equals 8. And that's how we do that. So now, why don't we look at today's assignment? So I'm going to move this up. And it says, how do you determine if two numbers or expressions are equal? So what we will learn today is to solve an equation by adding, to use the addition property of equality. So when we look at our I can statement, it's I can determine if two numbers or expressions are equal. And we have the addition property of equality, and that is the property that states that if you add the same number to both sides of an equation, the sides remain equal. We also have the equivalent expressions, and they are expressions that are the same even though they may look different. And you can model the expressions with bar diagrams and by simplifying. So in our first example, the addition property of equality, you have 5 equals 5. So if you added 3 to each side, you would get 8. So 8 equals 8. And that stands through when you do algebra. X minus 2 is equal to 3. If you added plus 2 to both sides, it would be x is equal to 5, which would be equivalent. So this shows through equivalent expressions. X plus 3 equals 6 plus 3. X plus 3 equals 9. Subtract 3 from both sides, yielding x times 3 equals 6 times 3. And then you divide by 3 on both sides, and you would get x over 3 equals 2. Okay? Now when we go to our example, x minus 2 equals 3. We put in our bar graphs. X is the same as 3 plus 2. So x minus 2 equals 3. Plus 2 to both sides. X equals 5. We can check that. 5 minus 2 equals 3. 3 equals 3. We are correct. So now we have x minus 5 equals 10. So we're gonna write that out. So x minus 5 equals 10. So when we look at this, we are seeing a positive x, a negative 5, is equal to a positive 10. So knowing that we have a negative 5, we have to do the inverse, which is a plus 5. So we do a plus 5 to both sides, and we yield x equals 15. Now we can check on the next PowerPoint, and that answer is correct. So now what we can look at is solving equations by addition or subtraction. So just like we did this one where we used a plus 5, whereas the last one we had used a negative number. So this shows solve the equation b minus 6 equals 12. So just like the last problem, you add a plus 6 to both sides, yielding b equals 18. We can check our solution. Does 18 minus 6 equal 12? Yes, 12 equals 12. So in our next equation, we have the difference between the number of people that visit an amusement park on Saturday and the number of people that visit the park on Wednesday is 1,465. Saturday is the busiest day of the week. There are 4,320 visitors on Wednesday. How many visitors are there on Saturday? So what you're going to do is you're going to create an equation in which you'll find out how many people are there on Saturday. So we look and we say into our equation, and we look and we see on Saturday, the number of people that visit the park on Wednesday is 1,465. Saturday is the busiest day of the week. There are 4,320 visitors on Wednesday. How many visitors are there on Saturday? So we're also looking for the mathematical function. So the difference between the number of people, that visit the amusement park on Saturday and on Wednesday is that. So what you're going to do is you're going to say, we don't know Saturday yet, X, minus, because that's where difference comes in, 1,465 is equal to the total for Wednesday, which is 4,320. And then what we do is we isolate our variable by doing the inverse of the operation. Since we have a negative 1,465, we're going to add 1,465. And there we go. 0 and 5 make 5. 6 and 2 make 8. 3 and 4 make 7. And 1 and 4 make 5. So our answer should be 5,785 visitors. And we can look on the next page. That is correct. We can look through this equation just like the other one. So we can see that we have our answers. We can go to our next you try. After you withdraw $50 from your savings account, the balance is $124. Write and solve a subtraction equation to find your starting balance. So what we know is we have our starting balance. We don't know yet. Subtracting $50 is equal to $124. And we do a plus 50 to both sides. And we get 4, 7, and 1. And that is $174. And we will check, and that answer is correct. So we are very good. And then it says, the next lesson is solving multiplication equations. Write how you think the lesson on solving equations and subtractions equation will help you understand the next one. So what we're looking for is use your mathematical mind. I know that I can do the opposite of the inverse to get the answer I'm looking for. So the opposite of plus 5 is negative 5. The opposite of negative 4 is plus 4. The opposite of plus 4 is negative 4. So I know that if by multiplication and division, I'm going to do the opposite. So if I'm multiplying, I'm going to divide. If I'm dividing, I'm going to multiply. And then we go to our skill practice, and we fill out the form, and we are good. Thank you for your time, guys.